Get ready. We're going to read a book called National Geographic Readers Abraham Lincoln by Caroline Crossan Gilpin. So we're reading all about Abraham Lincoln. Here's the table of contents so we can see everything that we're going to read about in the table of contents. Why he's a much loved president, he's a country boy, growing up, in his time, becoming a leader. 9 awesome facts, slavery, Civil War, the Gettysburg Address, Lincoln's last days, Lincoln's life. So we're going to read a few of these pages together. A much loved president. You've all seen this before, the penny. Who's on the penny? And the $5 bill? It's Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States. Look at him here, look at him here. Lincoln is an important man in America's history. He was a country boy. Lincoln was born in a one-room log cabin in Kentucky on February 12, 1809. That was a long time ago, 1809. He grew up in Indiana. Lincoln read a lot of books. Here he is. He wanted to go to school, but there was too much work to do on his family's farm. He chopped down trees, built fences, and plowed the land. He grew strong and very tall. Lincoln was kind and a good storyteller. So here's a picture. It says Lincoln's family home in Kentucky. So this is the log cabin that Abraham Lincoln was born in. Growing up. All his life, Lincoln taught himself how to do things. He learned how to read and write, tell stories, and give speeches. Lincoln learned how to fix machines. He taught himself how to pilot a riverboat and how to be a soldier. He even studied law and became a lawyer all on his own. Lincoln was an inventor. He had an idea for a machine to help ships float over sandbars. Wow, so he was an inventor just like Benjamin Franklin. And remember, a lawyer is a person who provides advice about the law. So he taught himself how to be a lawyer. In his time, there were a lot of things that were different from today. It was not like how we live today. In the 1800s, many things were different from how they are today. Money. A pair of shoes cost $1. A quart of milk cost 10 cents. That doesn't sound like much, but dollars and dimes were worth a lot more back then. So a pair of shoes only cost $1. Your shoes probably cost at least $40. That's a lot more money. School. Back then, not all children went to school. Those who did learned together in one-room schoolhouse. So all the kids were in the same room, in the same building. Transportation. People walked and traveled by horse-drawn carriages. Trains were used for long trips. There were no cars or airplanes. So they rode their horse to get to school. They didn't ride in a car. U.S. events. California became the 31st state in 1850. The New York Times newspaper started in 1851. Becoming a leader. Remember we talked about what a leader is. There's someone who sets a good example for everyone else. So in 1842, Lincoln married Mary Todd. They had 4 sons named Robert, Eddie, Willie, and Tad. Lincoln was a good lawyer. People trusted him to make important decisions. So Lincoln became a politician. Lincoln held 2 jobs as a politician for the state of Illinois. Then in 1860, he ran for president. Lincoln won. He became the 16th president of the United States. Here's a painting of the Lincolns with 3 of their sons, Willie, Rob, Robert and Tad. A politician is a person who helps run a town, city, state, or country. So he had a very big job to do as a politician. 9 awesome facts about Abraham Lincoln. Are you ready? Number 1. 11-year-old Grace Bedell wrote Lincoln a letter suggesting he grow a beard. And he did. The Lincoln penny looked the same since 1909, with Lincoln on the head side. Lincoln made Thanksgiving a national holiday in 1863. Magazine editor Sarah Josepha Hale suggested the idea. Lincoln read the Bible often, but did not belong to any church. Lincoln owned horses, cats, dogs, and a turkey. Once he saved his dog from drowning in a frozen river. Brr. Some presidents used speechwriters, but Lincoln wrote all his own speeches. Lincoln's stepmother was an important person in his life. She encouraged him to read and learn. Mary Todd Lincoln was more than a foot shorter than her husband. Oh my goodness, it's a lot shorter. And the last fact is that Lincoln kept important papers in his stovepipe hat. Slavery. During Lincoln's time, some white people owned black slaves. The first slaves were brought to America from Africa. They were stolen from their families and sold to people who used them to do work. Slaves did not get paid and had to obey their owners. Slaves did not have any rights. They were often treated very badly. Many people were slaves because their parents were slaves too. Those who tried to escape were often caught. Most slaves would never be free. People all over the country disagreed about slavery. Many people in the South wanted slaves to work on their large farms. Most people in the North worked in cities and thought slavery was wrong. Lincoln was against slavery and told people it needed to end. This doesn't seem very nice, does it? That's why Lincoln wanted to end slavery. He was against slavery. He said, "This isn't fair. Everyone should be treated fairly." This is an illustration of slaves working on a southern farm. Shows the hard work needed to grow and harvest crops. Slaves used music for comfort and support. They sang about freedom, hard work, and their beliefs. In his own words, he said, "Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally." And the last picture is a drawing of New York City in the 1800s. We've learned a lot about Abraham Lincoln so far. I want you to think of one thing he did to make our country a better place. What was his contribution? How did he make our country a better place?